Do you think that the college system and the youth system in the U.S. is fair?
I think the college system is fair. I think the only thing that would make it not fair is that you have certain requirements to get into schools. That's the thing about the professional game. If you're a professional team and you want a player, you go get him. But for a college team, if you want that player, has he got the grades? Maybe you don't have any scholarships. He doesn't have the budget for it. The main thing is like the grade requirements. So like you'll see ballers at the NCAA level that would never get to Division 1 because of their grades. So that sense, it's not fair, but that's the system. And I don't think that's fair or not fair. That's just how it is.
Have that certain mentality where you want to get better and you want to win, and that's it.
Not only how they play, but like trainings and the lifestyle players from D1 to Europe, in your opinion?
I would say there's a lot of Europeans in Division 1. I would say the biggest thing is the coaching.
One that I learned the most this summer is sacrifice. It's a new challenge back at home with whether it's club or high school. Not everybody's 100%. Like there will be 7 good players and then the rest are just weak and it's easy to just get by them. But here, everybody, especially on whoever we're facing, like the best 11 is going to be on the field every time.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Select Generation podcast. Again, today we're here in Bournemouth and today we've got Justin Glasco from Georgetown, Delaware, not Maryland. And then we've got Gage Stewart, who is from just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. They're both playing for our club here, Select Generation FC in Bournemouth, our first season. Gage is going to Bournemouth University. Justin is here for a year with his plans to transfer back to the NCAA after his time with us. And we are just going to talk about football, really, their experience so far. They're obviously both from North America, coming over here for the first time and experiencing English football. So previously on an episode, we had David and Griffin, and they both spoke really well. It was really interesting to kind of hear their perspective and how it went for them. And today I want to learn about these two guys, their story, why they're here, what they're about, and just the transition really from America to England in terms of football. So Gage, we'll start off with you. For someone that's listening to this podcast episode, who are you? What's your story? Who is Gage?
So I feel like just like most people, I've been playing since I was young, like before elementary school and everything. But I didn't get really serious about football until like 6th grade, whenever one of my teachers told me that I should join a club team. And I did that for about a year, but then I found out that I had Lyme's disease from a tick that bit me around like 5th grade. So I had to take from around 7th grade to 9th grade just completely off, recovering, going to a bunch of doctors to get rid of it because Lyme's disease just causes a bunch of fatigue, lung fatigue, your bones are just weak. So it was difficult to do any exercise. And then around 9th and 10th grade, I joined a club team. I went on a website to get recruited by coaches and find camps and everything. And then would just go to summer camps, winter camps, all the way up until my senior year. And then around this time last year is whenever you contacted me, giving me the breakdown of what Select Generation is and what we would be doing here, and took a few months to think about if it was going to be worth it to come over here. And I'm definitely happy with my decision to come over here. And yeah.
Amazing. So for someone that's listening to this, do you mind talking about Lyme's disease, or are you kind of...
No, I'm good.
So for someone listening to this that's like, oh yeah, Gage just had an injury or he had something that he got over, he's fine now. Like, how would you kind of explain that to someone that doesn't really understand like the consequences of it? Because for me, knowing that what you've been through and like the challenges that you've had to come and be playing at the level that you're playing at now, you've obviously had to go through a lot and there's been a lot of setbacks. Yeah. So for someone that doesn't really appreciate or understand what you've done, how would you kind of explain it in simple terms?
I mean, I'm very thankful to my mom because she's into all natural, like more Eastern medicine. And she was able to find me doctors. I would have to go once a week, and then now it's about once a month that I have to go. But I mean, it's just, I had to cut out dairy, food dye, like all sorts of junk food, and just making sure that I'm staying on a strict diet. And I really can't kind of understand, like, I still don't really understand how it got out of my body, but it was just a bunch of vitamins, medicine, really like digging deep into just my body to clear out all the sickness.
So what was the biggest challenge for you with that? Was it the fact, like, was it, because obviously like physically you struggle, but was it like mentally knowing that you're not 100%? Like, What was your biggest challenge with getting over that?
I think I was a little bit too young to understand mentally, because it was also around 6th and 7th grade whenever it really hit me. So I wasn't fully into, I want to go D1, I want to go pro, and knowing how that all works out. I think it was more just frustrating because my friends would invite me out to play, or I would be doing track at school, and I wouldn't even be able to run a lap around the field without laying down and being fully exhausted. And whenever I would play my games, like I would have constant shin splints and like heel issues, and I could barely run around.
Right.
So I think the worst part was just like I obviously wanted to stay with my friends and like physically be able to catch up to them, but I was so far behind that I really couldn't,
right,
be around them physically.
Really good, Gage. I mean, obviously I know a bit about that, but that's really interesting, and I think you came a long way.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Justin, what about you? What's your story? For someone that's listening to this that knows that obviously you're a goalkeeper, you're a good player, you're playing over here in England. Who is Justin? Why are you here?
So I grew up playing baseball up until 9th grade, and that's when I made the switch. I was like, I just need something else to do. So, so played all 4 years of high school, got my varsity starting spot sophomore year. And one of my best friends back home took me to a Philly Union game. It was 2022. I think it was like the semifinals of the
MLS
East.
Cup.
Yeah. And I watched Andre Blake, and I think it was Matt Freese at the time. And I was watching them, and in my position, and I was just like, that's what I want to do. So then ever since then, it's just been grinding.
Yeah, right.
Every day.
So when you went to that game, were you like kind of playing for fun? Did you know you wanted to play like in college or at the next level, or were you kind of just playing soccer recreationally?
I think growing up, I was always very persistent. Like I always wanted to, like I was very competitive. I always wanted to be like the best at anything I did. So seeing them play and kind of looking into what I was doing, I really wanted to be like that, and it just got me even more motivated.
So what when you say you went to the game and you were focusing on them, it's interesting because goalkeeper's probably one of the last positions that I would look at. Like you look at the strikers, the wingers, maybe the midfielder. You're a goalkeeper, so it makes sense you were looking at them. But what was it about those two goalkeepers that you were like, wow, I'm really impressed, that's what I want to do?
It was probably, in the moment, it was probably the reflexes. I know that Andre Blake had like a lot of saves that game. So it was just being that savior for the team, and it just felt right.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. And then, so obviously, Justin, you are here in England. You're here for a season, right? So for a player that's listening to this, that's thinking about maybe going to college, I know obviously you had like your junior college that you were going through and then it didn't work out. You had other schools you were talking to. Why are you here in England?
Yeah, so I had multiple D3 and JUCO offers, but I felt like this was the better opportunity, especially because I went to Spain on trial, right? So I saw how guys over there were getting spotted by these local pro academies, and it surprised me by how almost easier it was here than in the U.S. to go pro. So that drew me in a little bit more. And I feel like that there's more goalkeeping knowledge in the UK compared to the US.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I speak to a lot of goalkeepers in America, unless you're playing at like an MLS academy, you don't really get like specific goalkeeper attention. And I think the more I go and watch like goalkeepers, especially at like in the US at the youth level, is like basic concepts that they're not like, they understand and they know it's important, but they haven't really been taught, or they're not able to excel at like simple things as being a goalkeeper compared to like England or Spain or wherever. So from your perspective, when you were growing up, you said you were playing high school, you were playing for your club. What was your goalkeeper training like when you were growing up?
I made almost all of my own drills. We did have a goalie coach there, but it was, I kind of knew what I needed to work on to prepare for the next game. So I kind of did a lot of that on my own. And then it was just a lot of work at home by myself, working on like those fundamentals and making sure.
But why
that
didn't
tight.
you have a specific goalie coach?
There's just no focus on the position.
Why?
It's
Why do you think?
probably because of like the style of play. I think we like to either boot it big, which is what my high school liked to do, or it's very like passing wise. And I think that the U.S. has changed their way of playing, but I think, but before leaving high school, I think it was more don't pass back to the goalie. Like the goalie's just there to defend the goal.
So when you say you were doing your own drills in terms of like you were figuring out what you needed to do, was that you went to training and you kind of worked on your own by the side? Was that on your own watching YouTube videos? Like when you say I knew what I needed to work on and I trained by myself, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I would always, I'm very critical of myself. So every practice, I would pick out something that isn't quite there yet. So let's say like my passing, I'd find a ball, I'd just do that for hours and hours every day. And then I would also be watching YouTube videos. I'd watch England national teams.
That's a really good one. Insider training.
Yeah, inside training. Oh, it's class. Yeah, but just watching those guys, and I mean, even if you're not picking up on like the small micro things that they're doing, your body does. And I felt like when I was watching those videos more, I was getting better just by watching because I was seeing how their bodies were moving, how they were catching the ball, and it just made me learn a whole lot more.
It's interesting. I mean, for you, Gage, obviously, like as a midfield player, how has the transition been from what you've been used to the English style of football? What have you been kind of most surprised about? What's been different? Or yeah, I guess in terms of the coaching style as a midfielder, what you're used to versus what it's been like here.
Yeah, I feel like what I was most used to back at home was it's really like midfielders of all midfielders, are either in the attack or in the defensive. Like there wasn't really a CDM, a center attacking mid, a center midfielder. It's just like you're all forward or you're all backwards. But I feel like here it's much easier to like rotate correctly instead of just all doing one thing, and you're all able to support either the back line, the front line, and rotate in the middle and just be able to play more as an actual unit instead of by yourself.
And what's been your biggest challenge coming over here, football-wise?
Yeah, I'd say definitely physicality. Back at home, it's more just you kick a ball down and you have one person fast on your team and you use them the whole game. But here it's everybody has to be in the game 100%, and like you have to go into challenges 100% or else you're just going to get clobbered.
Everyone says that about England. It's a lot more physical, but what does that mean? Like if I said, okay, Gage, I'm going to go and play in England, and you told me, yeah, be ready for physicality, and I said, okay, great. What does that mean though? Do I need to go to the gym more? Do I need to watch more film? Like when you say English football is more physical, what do you mean?
I feel like obviously tackles, like it all comes up to what the person is like. Like I just feel like
you're going to get smashed in the 50-50.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get smashed in the 50-50, but it's also whenever you're just up next to a player, like back at home, nobody's stepping on your toes, kicking your heels, knee in the back of your leg. It's much more mental with the physical side. If you're going up for a free kick and you're on the 18 about to run in, they're just doing anything to get in your head, anything to make you trip, anything to get you just the slightest bit off your game. So I think that's what I mean by physical, but it also just transitions into mentally. They're always trying to do stuff.
And if someone's listening to this that's thinking, what the hell, that should be a foul, the referee is going to see that, that's really unfair. What do you say?
I mean, the ref can't see everything, and especially whenever the ref's focused on who has the ball and, for example, the free kick setting up the wall, anybody here is going to take advantage to just do anything that they can whenever the ref is distracted.
And when you say you need to like win the mental battle, in terms of like your biggest challenge since you've been here, was it like the first game maybe where you were like, ref, what the hell? Or were you upset? And then the last game you were like, okay, I know what to expect now so I can get over it. Like from the first game maybe where you experienced that until now, how do you now know how to deal with the mental battle?
The biggest thing that I do is just keep my mouth shut, because it's easy to yell at the ref for fouls that I feel like should be called. But I mean, they're not going to be called. So if you just stick to your game and focusing on helping your teammates stay in their game, then that's the best way to win mentally, especially if you're up in a game. They're going to do even more stuff, like just anything to make you want to get angry and eventually get a yellow or a red or something like that. Just making sure that you're calm, and that's the biggest thing you can do.
What would you say, Justin, is the biggest difference from what you're used to?
Definitely the physicality. I think there's playing within playing. Like there's a lot of like dirty.
Give us an example.
So like somebody stepping on your foot, or they put a shoulder into you more. It's a lot different than at home. I think it's softer back home than it is here.
Were you expecting that when you came here?
Yes, but only because other people have said things like that. So I've just kind of kept an eye on it.
And how did you prepare for that? Did you prepare for that?
Mentally,
or you can't really?
Not you really can't, but it's mentally you have to a little bit.
How?
Just understanding that you're going into a different kind of football.
Why is it different?
It's more. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
If I said like, right, I'll give you my rundown. So for example, for me, when I play, because I grew up obviously in the UK and then I went to America, and here it was a lot of that stepping on feet, pulling shirts when the ref's not looking, a little nudge, and then you're on side to running behind, goal on. For example, with a goalkeeper, if I was on the keeper, I'd be stepping on him, I'd be pushing him, I'd be like, And I think in the US, I think also is a big difference because you were both used to youth football and this is men's football. So that's also a different challenge. I think in America is very much like you are playing youth football with people your own age right up until you're 18. And then you go to college. And then still it's similar to youth football. I mean, you might have a 23, 24-year-old, but most of the people in the college game are between 18 to 22, 23. Yeah. Whereas here, you've been thrown into guys that are maybe twice your age, guys that are mid-30s, and they've been playing the game for 35 years and they know the little things because they know that you're more athletic, you're better technically than them, but they know how to manage the game better, talk to the referee, play you offside, kick you, make sure that you don't get the ball. So for someone, for example, Justin, let's say that you are talking to yourself 2 months ago, knowing what you know now, before you prepared to come to England, what would you tell yourself?
Be more mentally prepared for the I really don't know.
What do you think, Gage? What would you tell yourself 2 months ago?
2 months ago. I'd just probably say, like, relax. I was very stressed beginning and middle of the summer because I was newly injured from my knee. So I was stressed trying to make sure that I was healing, but at the same time, staying at the level I'm at and trying to get better. And I feel like if I just told myself to relax, then my summer would have been a lot more peaceful, while also I would have still been able to develop the same that I did.
So what do you mean you were stressed?
I just felt like I was constantly thinking of, I feel like the stress that I had, like I would wake up and I'd want to go and play and I'd want to go get better or work out, but that was going to affect your knee. Yeah.
So it was more mentally, like being hard on yourself, trying to do better. Yeah. So how did you get over that? Or that was a battle that you had with yourself?
Yeah, I think that I got. I'm trying to think, man. I think I got over the stress with just accepting that I'm hurt, and just thinking each day it's a new day. I have to just do the same thing, recover, heal, and then relax.
It's an interesting topic about like being injured and going into a new program, because obviously I think the good thing about being here is that we have a 10-month season. But for example, if you were going to an NCAA school, you would have a 3-month season, right? Yeah. And if you were injured going in, it'd be like, if I don't play, I'm not going to play the whole year. So For someone that's listening to this that's injured and maybe they're stressed, maybe they're like, I really need to get healthy and I'm not. What worked for you with your rehab process?
Like, do you mean like
Like you're injured,
Yeah.
and you're trying to get better, and you're stressed, like how you were. What worked for you to be healthy and to be playing 90 minutes like you are now?
I used all the assets that I could. I used all the doctors that I had used in the past. And then one thing that is very overlooked is AI. Like I went probably 2 days in a row filling out an exact sheet from the second that I woke up to the minute that I went to bed of like everything that I can be doing to make sure that I recover and enhance my performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that ChatGPT or a different app?
No, ChatGPT.
Oh,
yeah.
amazing. No,
Yeah.
that's really good. I think people don't use this enough, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
So how did you use ChatGPT to get better at your injury? Or how did you use ChatGPT to recover from your injury?
Yeah, I knew the exact injury that I had, and I just said, what are all the best drills and workouts that I can do to help recover after 2 weeks that I had taken of just rest and making sure that I'm not re-injuring it. And I also used the ones that doctors had told me to use, and I put it into that. And I said, could you rank them all out of 10? And could you give me like a database of a 3-week plan of how to recover and how to increase the intensity throughout that time?
I know you're going to be successful, Gage. That's amazing. Really good. And Justin, I'll go back. Have you thought about an answer for the question? What would you have told yourself?
Just to keep doing what I was doing. I think over the summer, I've really tried putting in the work for coming here. And I think it's paid off so far.
So let's talk about that, because, for example, there might be someone listening to this episode that's thinking about coming the next year or going internationally to wherever they're going, maybe even going to college. How important, I'll ask you first, Justin, how important is the summer before you go and play? And what should you be doing?
It's so important. I mean, like, you have to, regardless of where you go, you have to put in the work in order to be successful. But, like, yeah, like, coming in internationally, like, you have to do things multiple times a week. I mean, I know I was doing CrossFit 4 to 5 times a week, and then practices on top of that.
So everyone says work hard, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a non-negotiable. Like, if you're not working hard, then I think you're in the wrong place. But what does hard work mean? Because I'm sure that if I asked you, what should you be doing before the summer, you would say work hard, be fit. Mm-hmm. But my work hard and be fit might be, I went to CrossFit once this week. Your work hard, be fit, I went to CrossFit 4 times this week. Mm. So what does hard work actually mean?
I feel like it's a combination of consistency and work ethic. Because without consistency, you're not improving as fast as you could. And without work ethic, you're not going to do the things that you normally would. So having both of those characteristics and, you know, working towards what you're trying to achieve, I think is very, very important to being better.
And how do I know that I'm not overworking to get injured? Because there's also the side of it, whereas if you work really hard and you're really consistent, you push yourself a lot, you might get injured. So how do I make sure I'm working hard, but recovering, stretching, and not getting injured?
I think that you'll have that feeling of if you're doing too much or not. I remember over the summer I had that feeling probably once or twice because I was going maybe once or a few times extra, and it was kind of putting a toll on my body. And, you know, the practices that I would go to, I'd be in my head or whatnot. So then I would take a day or two off, and I just don't think about the sport, just relax, recover. It's just, a lot of it is mental. Mm. So.
And how do you know, were you alone in that? Would you talk to your mum, to your dad, to your coach? Like, because I feel like there's a lot of players who don't really communicate that much, and they're kind of in their own head, and then they'll keep being in their own head. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, I'm not playing well, I need to train even more, rather than like you taking a day off. So were you by yourself? Were you speaking to someone?
Yeah, I spoke to all my loved ones about like how I felt about the practice. You know, I would come home and they'd be like, "Oh, how was it?" I was like, "It was okay." I was kind of in my head, and then from there on, after that conversation, I would plan out what I needed to do in order to get myself back on track and to kind of like succeed at the next thing that I do.
And I think for you, Gage, obviously from your challenges that you've had to overcome, your injuries, obviously the Lyme's disease, I asked you the same question. What is hard work to you? What does it mean?
I feel like the biggest thing, and it's one that I learned the most this summer, is sacrifice. Obviously, it's my senior year. I want to make as many memories as I can. I want to go out with my friends. I want to stay up late. I want to
Party.
Party. And it's like I had to learn very quickly within the first few weeks of summer that it's like I got to be in bed at 10. I got to wake up at 6. It's that simple. I can hang out with my friends after training, but even if that's a 2-hour window, I just have to deal with it.
And why were you like that? Was that yourself? Was that your parents? Was that your coach? Like, because there's a lot of players or your friends who weren't doing that.
Yeah.
So who was that? Did that come from you or your family or?
I'd say it was mostly me. My family were always supportive of, okay, if you want to do that, you can do that, and we're here for you. We'll help you along the way. But I feel it was mostly me. That's just I've always been stuck to an agenda and a time stamp. Like, okay, I'm going to bed at 10, and if it's 10:30, then I still wake up at 6. Like, I'm not going to push anything back.
And what was hard about that? Like, would your friends laugh at you or make fun of you?
No, my friends were always supportive. They love that I'm here, but they were always, of course, they're going to push, like, come on, just come out one night, just hang out, just sleep over one time, and then you can make up for it.
How do you get that balance right? Because that's something that I personally struggle with, is giving advice to players around that topic. Because when I was 16, 17, 18, I was going out every weekend.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't as disciplined as you said. And my advice is always that that's probably the reason why, I mean, there's other reasons, but that's one of the main reasons why I probably didn't reach my peak in my football career, because I wasn't athletic enough. I didn't sacrifice enough, and I wanted a life and a football balance. So I struggle sometimes to give advice to players your age. For example, you're 18, you're in England. There's a big drinking culture. There's a big going out culture. I get it. You're 18. You're in a new place. My freshman year, we would go out pretty much after every game on a Saturday, because that's what you do. Like, meet people, have fun. You're at college. You're supposed to do that. Mm-hmm. So I struggle to give advice because from my perspective now that I've talked to a lot of people, the ones that are professional, that are playing for Bournemouth, that are playing for MLS clubs, they don't drink at all. They don't go out at all. They're 100% disciplined, 100% locked in. And that is like the top 1%. So how do you get the balance right? Because I'm sure there is times where you want to go to a party and you want to go, I don't know, talk to girls or have a drink or hang out. How do you get the balance right between being locked in and also doing that? Or can you not do that?
Honestly, I don't think I probably did find a balance. I just don't think I really realized that. I would just say, okay, Saturday nights I'll hang out with my friends, and if we're going to sleep over, I'll sleep over Saturday to Sunday. And that's really the only time that I would see him. I'd see him once a week. And I mean, that's really it. It's not really a balance. I was just sacrificing the time with my friends to push towards a goal that I've always dreamed of. And they were always supportive of that. And I'd see him when I would see him, and I'd call him, and we'd still play video games or hang out. But it's just, for me at least, it was just a total cutoff of one lifestyle to be 100% in one style.
Interesting. What about you, Justin? I feel like you're quite disciplined and locked in. How do you find a balance between both?
I've never been I've never really liked parties, and I've never thought about going out to drink. I just because I'm so competitive, I think that's why.
That gives you your edge.
Yeah, like I think that being like that gives me my edge, and I feel confident that when I don't go out, somebody else does, then I have a day over them.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out?
No, because I know that there's gonna be another party. Like, there's always gonna be something else that's gonna go on, and like even after like my football career, like there's always gonna be something else. So.
Is it difficult living in another country, being 18, like obviously you're very independent, you live by yourself, you have your roommates, you're living pretty much in the town centre, so you could walk to a pub, walk to a club if you wanted to. With all those distractions, how do you not get distracted?
I just think it's because I've never been interested in those things that I don't get distracted by it. I'm always talking to family or friends and from back home, and
you're content, you're comfortable, so you don't need other things.
Right.
You know what's important to you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I wish I was like that, 18. Jeez. I'm playing for Bournemouth now. But no, I think it's an important thing to talk about. It's something that I haven't really talked about previously, is like getting the balance right, because obviously there are times where you'll make the wrong decision, and I think that's important too, because you learn from that and you realize what's important to you. I think it's important to talk about those things, and obviously I think you should have a balance, and you still should have fun and see with your friends and make memories and whatever. But I think it is the balance of getting that all right. So, I mean, I wanted also obviously to talk about, we're in England right now. You guys are from 3,000-4,000 miles away. What has been the biggest challenge with the lifestyle?
I feel, honestly, I hate to say it, I haven't really found a challenge.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because I honestly think it's the way that my mom helped me to stay disciplined over the summer.
Right.
Because she made me cook all my meals over the summer. She made me, well, she was getting the groceries, but she made me do my laundry. She made me clean my room. Right. So when it comes to, since I'm living alone with no roommate, it's like she really well prepared me.
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean,
so you haven't had any challenge? The food, the I didn't say language. The food, the people, the time zone,
I mean, I'd say that, I guess the biggest challenge is finding a good time to talk with my friends and family.
That's always tough.
Because I don't want to call them too early. So most of the time it'll be, it's 11 o'clock at night. It's 5 o'clock their time. Now is the best time to call them, but I also want to be getting in bed earlier. So I'd say that's probably the hardest challenge.
Right. Okay, interesting. What about you, Justin? What's been the hardest challenge?
Where do I begin? Man, that entire first week by myself.
What?
Coming to practice late, missing the bus. Oh my God.
Just want to clarify for any future parents, this was not really our fault.
No, it was not. No, this was all me.
So explain, what was your biggest challenge, right? Because you were, it makes sense because you're jet lagged, you're in a new country, you're going to new training sessions, you're getting a bus that you don't really understand, you are different types of foods in a completely new environment, your parents are not here. So talk to us about your first week.
Yeah, so probably the thing that confused me the most was all these different things happening. So then when I would focus on all these things, there'd be one thing missing.
Right.
Or I'd focus on that, but then something else.
Give us an example.
So, that night before missing the bus, I'm about to go to sleep. I turn on my alarm. I have my jersey set up. I have my bag packed for the morning. And the one thing I forget is to tell my roommates, and just that the bus leaves. So
for context, Justin is the house captain. So we have a house captain system where there's one person in one accommodation who's the house captain. So he'll say, "Hey guys, our food's been delivered," or "Hey guys, the bus is leaving at this time tomorrow," or "Hey guys, we need to charge the camera," or whatever. And Justin is the house captain because we thought and we still think he was the most responsible. But go on.
Yeah, and then losing my phone on the bus.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was focused too much on like the soccer or the football and the practice, and making sure I have my bag, and then losing my phone. It's just been
so. I don't want to like laugh about this and kind of like push it off because I think it's important. But why were you struggling, or why do you think it was one thing after another? You haven't got ADHD, have you?
No.
Okay, so it's not a medical thing.
No.
But why did all these things happen? Do you think it was just because you were really focused on football and then you were like, shit, but I need to think about this? Or was it just
a new environment and new things happening all the time, and I just had to arrange or kind of make myself comfortable in this new environment. And when I wasn't, I would start almost like panicking, trying to make sure I had everything that I needed, and then as I'm leaving, I forget something. So
what is the solution for that? You're good now. Mm-hmm. So what did you do to fix that? Was it just time?
It's just time, and it's kind of being patient with yourself, because you're not gonna always have it first time. But it's also just getting comfortable. You have to get comfortable before things start going right.
And for you, Gage, obviously coming over here, for a player that's coming over to England, whether it's football, whether it's their life, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a player coming over to England?
I would just Ooh. I would say probably just find things to be thankful for each day, because it's so easy to get caught up in training sessions or school or just new life, but just waking up each day and knowing, okay, I'm over here. I'm grateful to be able to play the sport that I love each day. I'm grateful for my parents or whoever allowed me to come over here. I'm grateful for my coaches, and just finding at least one thing to just kind of take you out of the distraction of life and just take each day one at a time.
What has been your most enjoyable thing about being here?
I'd just say probably the football aspect. I mean, that's
Why? Why is it enjoyable? Because someone might be listening and thinking, oh, if you're playing in England, it's really physical. They're going to kick you. It's going to be really intense.
Yeah.
So why is football enjoyable here?
It's a new challenge. Back at home, with whether it's club or high school, not everybody's 100%. Like, there will be 7 good players and then the rest are just weak, and it's easy to just get by them. But here, everybody, especially on whoever we're facing, like, the best 11 is going to be on the field every time. So it's always a challenge fighting for your shirt, fighting in the midfield against other players, and you always have to be at your best game or else you're going to lose.
Do you think that anyone could come to England and get better at football?
I really feel like it's up to where your mental space is at. If you're not if you're not able to live fully independently or take care of yourself, or you're constantly relying on other people to do things for you, then it'll be really easy to not put 100% into football.
I want to ask you that as well, Justin. What do you think that anyone could come to England and be good?
I liked his response, because I was thinking the same thing when you asked it. It's definitely mental. You have to have that certain mentality where you want to get better and you want to win, and that's it.
I know I spoke a lot at the beginning of the year about winning.
Mm-hmm.
How important is winning?
Really important.
Why?
Because you get more opportunities when you win. And but even if you don't, it goes back to that hard work and the dedication, like the persistence that like a player has. If they have that level of dedication, persistence, and that work ethic, then they're going to get more opportunities than others who will go out three nights a week instead of maybe going out only once.
Chris, how long have we got? Sorry, I didn't bring my watch.
36 minutes in.
36, perfect. Okay, great. And Gage, how important is winning?
I mean,
I'm asking you this because in America,
Yeah.
you don't really have promotion relegation. So if you lose, you can just start again next year.
yeah.
So why is winning important?
I mean, it's important for you individually, but also as a team, obviously, for promotion, getting more looks, and just getting the team at a higher level, but also individually. Because, I mean, if you lose every single game this season, no coach from another team is going to look at you and say, oh, this is who I want, whenever he's on the starting 11 and he's not getting a goal, an assist, or anything. So I think individually it's extremely important to get looks at for a team at a higher level or a different country, or just if you want to go back home and play Division 1 and they see, oh, wow, he helped a team get promotion in the English pyramid. That shows leadership, that shows strength, that shows talent. That's somebody that I want on my team.
When the teams that we've played against, what do you think's been the hardest game?
Obviously, Winchester.
Why?
I mean, they just move the ball faster. Like, everybody back home is just, oh, I want to be like Messi. I want to be like Neymar. I want to dribble the whole team or shoot from 40 yards out. But when we went against them, it's 1-2 touch or maximum. And they're just going into tackles 100%. They're going in faster. They're passing the ball faster. They see the game a step ahead of us. Yeah.
And for you, Justin, being in net that game, why was it a challenge? What from the goalkeeping position could you see in terms of why they were better than us?
They're better than us positionally, passing the ball more, being quicker, and then our mentality. Because I think that we came into that game thinking, oh, like, these guys are 30 years old and they're like 4 leagues above us. They're going to demolish us. Instead of wanting to win, we just kind of went into it very easy. Instead of having that strong mindset of like, we're going to try to win.
I'm really glad we had that game at that point now, looking back, because I think it was a bit of a wake-up call. And I think that the players that come here, I think the ones that are successful, I'm glad we've had both of you on, because you're talking about kind of like being humble, working hard, understanding in the mindset. And I think most of it is mental game, because obviously we're not recruiting players here that can't pass a ball. Everyone's at a good technical level. But I think the players that succeed are the ones that spent a lot of time over the summer coming in fit, the ones that spent a lot of time kind of researching, the ones who ask really good questions, who are proactive, who are healthy, who are mentally ready for a challenge, not complaining to the referee, not complaining about random things, just like get to work and work harder than the person next to you. So I'm glad that we had that game and some of the other preseason games too, to kind of like not put us in our place, but be like, okay, guys, you're here. Like, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a challenge. And I think that from like a coaching point of view, you can kind of tell the players that are going to be successful by the way that when they lose, right? If you win all the time, you're not going to develop that much, because I think you're winning and you don't really have that much to critique because you win. How important do you think is losing?
I think it's honestly just as important as winning, because I mean, if you're constantly winning and then you lose, it's like, okay, we're not invincible.
So how do you deal with a loss, Gage? Let's say that we get beat, like we have. Let's say that we lose. When you go home, what do you do?
I look over my individual performance, like in my head, if the film's not uploaded. But just it's hard, because you obviously have to look back on your mistakes and you have to manage them well, and you have to see how to learn, but you also can't dwell on the mistakes, and you can't just only think of them. And then because if you do that, then not only are you just you're just hurting yourself mentally, and you're setting yourself back. Like, you're not growing from it if you just dwell on it. So what I do is just look back on the mistakes, and I see what I could have done better, and I just, okay, that's all I can do. Now we move on to the next thing. And then it's wake up the next day and just go into practice 100%. You try and find those moments where you would make that mistake, and you try and do the better thing.
What about you, Justin? How do you deal with the loss?
Yeah, I think the first day is like just getting over being mad about it, understanding what you've done wrong, and then that next day is, okay, how can I fix it? And looking back at film, looking at the good moments too, because if you're only looking at the negatives, then you're not fully understanding how well you're improving. So it's a confidence boost. So yeah, just taking it one day at a time, kind of understanding what you did wrong, what you did right, and then just improving from there.
We talked a little bit at the start about kind of goalkeeping coaching. I think Toby and Harry have been doing a really good job so far. How would you say that Toby and Harry have been doing for you individually, for the goalkeepers as a unit? Is it more than what you expected? Is it different to what you expected? How have they been with you?
It's so much more than what I expected from over the summer. The goalkeeper coaches that I did have back at home, I would have to find, and they were great too. But Toby and Harry, they bring excitement into it, and it makes me excited to see them and to learn and to play. And I think from the first 2 weeks, I think I've gotten so much better.
How do they bring excitement to it?
Their energy. It's like how happy they are to see us. How passionate they are about playing, like being in that position.
Do you think it's a knowledge thing or an energy thing? Do you think that they are really qualified and understand being a goalkeeper better than anyone that you've had before?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm sure you've had good goalkeeper coaches, but do you think they're really knowledgeable about football?
Yeah. Toby was semi-professional, and Harry went to plays at BU. So I think having that kind of background has really helped me with my technical ability, but also like my mental. I think like that one game that we were talking about, I was also in my head. So then afterwards I was talking to them and we changed something up, and then the next game I was better. So I think they bring in that little bit of enthusiasm about the position and understand that goalkeeping is also like mental. So you kind of have to pay attention to that.
Interesting. Good stuff. Okay, guys, let's flip it.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions for me?
Yeah. So being an agent
Yep.
and Select Generation as a whole, what are you doing behind the scenes that we don't see that will help us with recruitment or talking to other coaches or professional teams or
Good question. I feel like it's a lot of, like you say, behind the scenes. I mean, the challenge is understanding the levels of players, because we bring players to Spain, to England, to give them a platform and give them a bridge. And then we really, really need the players to perform, because we have the coaches, college coaches, who I have podcasts with, who I talk to, who I email, who I phone. And they're saying, like, let me know how he does in England. Let me know how he does in Spain, because that is like a higher level than what they've been exposed to previously, right? Like, you're playing men's football, you're competing to win, is different. So behind the scenes is a lot of phone calls, a lot of kind of, like, when I'm watching games, of course, I really want us to win, but I'm understanding individually like what the players are doing. Body language is so important. There's a lot of like watching film. Like I watch the film back. I'm obviously there in person. I'm trying to watch like what the player's like on the bench. What is he saying to it when his teammate messes up? That's a big thing too. Like, how are players on the bench when they're not playing? How do they react? Players that are not in the squad, are they getting ready to be in the squad? So it's a lot of understanding how the players are. Of course, if you score an amazing goal, if you have a clean sheet, really good saves, like, it's easy for me to help you. But also I want to understand what the player is like. Behind the scenes, I mean, obviously, like, the podcast has been really good to meet people, network with people, build relationships, build connections. As an agency, the better commitments we have, the better signings we have, the better commitments and signings we'll have in the future to build relationships. So behind the scenes, it's just a lot of texting, a lot of calling, a lot of emailing, a lot of videos, making sure, I think for me, my main role and responsibility is making sure like all the players feel supported, because I can tell you that I'm talking to this coach and give me a month and I'll get you something. But if you don't feel it, then this is a two-way relationship. Like, you need me and I also need you. Yeah. So my biggest role is making sure that you feel supported, you feel like you have the tools that you need, the love, the feedback, the guidance, and the clear pathway. And if you don't feel like you have a clear pathway, then I'm not doing my job. If the college coaches or the other clubs feel like I haven't got good players, then I'm not doing my job. So it's like a two-way thing, making sure the coaches are happy that we've got good players, and making sure that the players feel supported, that they're ready for that pathway. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
My question was, oh goodness, don't say I'm blanking. Wait, what was it? You know what? I have.
What questions you got for me? Go on, Gage. Whip the phone out. There we go.
Oh goodness.
Justin, you got one?
Let me look
here
it
we
up
go.
too.
Phone time.
I just had it, you know. Okay, now
Give me some time to prep.
So, what is the most interesting conversation you've had with a college or professional coach, and what insight did you gain from it?
Oof, that's a good one. The most interesting conversation that I had with a coach was in Dubai, when I met with Sonny from Precision. And because over the last 7 years I've lived in the US, so I feel like I know how the college system works. I know how the system works with the draft and going into the USL. I understand like why a player would go and why a coach would not really offer a player. So when I went out to Dubai, it was interesting to learn how that market works, what the coaches are looking for. Completely different situation with visas, completely different situation. There's no draft system, obviously. Different regulations between the first division, second division, third division. And there's a lot of internationals going out there because it is easier with a visa to get out to Dubai than it is to come to England or is to go to America, for example. So that was really interesting to kind of hear about his story, his perspective. He's also a manager, so like understanding what he's looking for in players. That was a really interesting conversation I had. There was also an interesting conversation with the director of Miami FC. They play in the USL Championship, and we were talking about his kind of recruitment model, not only for the players, but also for the club, like if they're hiring ticket sales or marketing or coaches. That was really interesting to kind of learn about their model. But yeah, I would say out in Dubai was interesting because it was a different perspective that I didn't really think of, different play style. They have different facilities, they have a different season, different laws and regulations with the league. That was really interesting.
I got it now. So like with social media nowadays, it's obviously has a much more impact just in general than what it used to. But how does social media and what players post and put on their pages like affect how they can get recruited and what other coaches see from them?
Yeah, really good question. I spend a lot of time looking at player profiles on Instagram and what they're about, because what you post on Instagram is what you want people to know about you. So when I was 16, 17, it probably wasn't as big. I had like a private account and I would post some football stuff, but it was more like lifestyle stuff, like going to the club or, I don't know, out at an event or on holiday, right? And coaches now spend a lot of time I think now football is, you're always going to have really good football players, right? You're always going to have really good technical players, athletic players. For example, now in the college system, a lot of players want to go to America, so it's so competitive. So you're always going to have good players. But what I have realized in the last couple of years is that coaches recruit, you have to be at a good level. You have to be a baller. Yeah. That's the first thing. But then it's like, okay, what type of person is this guy? Because the culture of a team is so important. And how do you find out about the culture of a person and what they're like? Probably you're going to look at his Instagram. So I think that just because you have a Gage 2026 soccer Instagram, it doesn't mean that you're going to get offers. Just because you have a Justin Twitter account and you post your save every day, that doesn't mean you're going to get any offers. But you need to do things that are going to aid your resume and aid your online profile. And I think that for coaches, obviously, the first thing they'll probably do is highlight reel. Good player, resume, what level has he played at? And then the next thing is, okay, what's he like as a person? Because I need someone in my team who's going to fight. If I'm losing, I don't want someone that's going to be sulking. I don't want someone we're going to have a game Saturday, Monday, he's going to be out on a Saturday night. And how do I find that out? Because obviously if I have a Zoom call with you, you're going to tell me everything that you should recruit me in because you're a really good player and because you're really motivated. I go on your Instagram and I see something completely different. What are you really like? Yeah. So I don't think that it means everything about someone. But obviously if you're posting the wrong type of thing, then you're going to struggle because coaches are going to think that you're a certain way. Yeah. What's next?
Pull up the phone again.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
I don't know. This one was actually my brain. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got one. Yeah. So, obviously England and Spain and probably Germany are the highest levels for like youth football. But what other countries are like underrated when it comes to the football system and how you can go from youth to pro?
I think I've been doing a lot of research in like Eastern Europe, Romania, Hungary, Poland. These are all countries where they have like Serbia, they have a really good infrastructure of players. I would say Asia too. Asia's like Japan have a lot of players that come into the NCAA who are really good. I would say I'm more knowledgeable in America, England, Spain, from the research that I've been doing recently, like Hungary, Poland, Romania. These types of countries have decent infrastructures and pathways also. You only really think about Spain, Germany, England because of Champions League, but a lot of these lower level, still really high level like Europa League, other teams in the Champions League, you can find a lot in Eastern Europe. I would say Japan is probably growing. South America is obviously massive. Brazil, Argentina, just because they're less developed countries and they don't have maybe the same money that's in the Premier League or La Liga. that is like you saw, was it Palmeiras and Corinthians at the FIFA Club
Yeah.
World Cup, like doing really well. Like Brazil have some of the best players that have ever played the game. So I wouldn't say that the best is England, Germany, Spain. I would say that you just see that because of Instagram. There's a lot of different pathways out there if you do your research.
Yeah.
What's like the main attribute that coaches in general look for in a
Level.
player? Level.
What level have they played at? If you look really good on the highlight video and then I find out that you're playing in a really bad league, the level. That's why like players will be like, okay, I play high school soccer or I play NPL or E64 and I score 20 goals. I want to play just Division 1. And then you have like an MLS Next or a top ECNL player that maybe doesn't have the same amount of stats, but the coach knows he's like played at a higher level. So the first thing that coaches want is level. What level is this guy playing at? And is that a bridge to my level? Like coaches recruit players that they trust, that they know are going to do a job at a specific level. So what's the bridge? What's the level? Can he do it? Having a good highlight video. And I would just say it's very like specific, position specific. So I say it a lot, but like if you're a striker and you don't score goals, you're pretty useless, right? If you're a goalkeeper and we lose 3-0 every week, you're pretty useless. So I think, I shouldn't say that, that's quite mean. But anyway, you guys know what I mean. If you're like a right back and you can't defend 1v1, you're not going to help me. If you're a winger and you can't beat your man 1v1, I mean, maybe you play a 3-5-2 and you don't need a winger and it's more of a wing back, but then what do you need specifically from that position? So I would say it's difficult, but it's not very hard to understand if you're a striker and you don't score goals, if you're a winger and you don't assist, if you're a midfielder, you don't assist, if you're a goalkeeper and you don't save, like it's going to be hard for you to go up. The main thing is level. And then the second thing is like having a real superpower in your arsenal.
Yeah. So since you played D1, obviously we get asked like what's the difference between Europe and America, but since you played at the highest level of college in America, what's like the difference in not only how they play, but like trainings and the lifestyle players from D1 to Europe, in your opinion?
I would say there's a lot of Europeans in Division 1. I would say the biggest thing is the coaching. I feel like a lot of American soccer coaches don't understand tactically what they need to do. I was very lucky. My Division 1 coach, probably the best tactical coach I ever had. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I knew exactly where I needed to be. We did probably an hour of film every day, and he was very, very good. I also had other American coaches that we just did rondos, passing pattern for 30 minutes, and then played.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing isn't really in terms of the players, because you have a lot of American players at Division 1, European players, international players. I would say the biggest difference is the style of football. You have like roll-on, roll-off subs. Non-conference games don't really matter that much. So if you lose, it's okay. Whereas in Europe, if you lose, you don't get 3 points. So I would say the biggest difference is the style of football, managing the game, and the coaching.
Okay.
Do you think that the college system and the youth system in the U.S. is fair?
Oof. Ask me that again?
Do you think that the college system and the youth system in the U.S. is fair?
I think the college system is fair. I think the only thing that would make it not fair is that you have certain requirements to get into schools. That's the thing about the professional game. If you're a professional team and you want a player, you go get him. But for a college team, if you want that player, has he got the grades? Maybe you don't have any scholarships, so he doesn't have the budget for it. Maybe he can't get a visa. The main thing is like the grade requirements. So like you'll see ballers at the NAIA level that would never get to Division 1 because of their grades. So that sense, it's not fair, but that's the system, and I don't think that's fair or not fair. That's just how it is. The youth system. What do you mean by fair?
So for example, I lived in Lower Delaware. The closest MLS Next or ECNL team was 2.5 to 3 hours away, and it wasn't worth driving that far.
But why is that not fair?
Because, or how I've seen it is that more higher level coaches, the D1, D2, and like other like MLS academies, I feel like that they've paid so much attention to the MLS Next and to only ECNL and MLS Next, and that's all they're recruiting. Do you think it's unfair for the players that aren't in that high of a league but still can perform at that? Because I've been told at showcases that like I have the ability to play at MLS Next, but I just don't have that opportunity.
I don't know if the word is unfair, because it's like, whose fault is it? You know what I mean? Like, is it your fault for not being able to drive? Is it the MLS Next fault for not putting a club in your town? Like, I know what you mean in terms of, is it not fair? And I think that that's kind of why we started Select Generation, was to find like undiscovered players that were good and didn't play MLS Next or top ECNL. So I understand what you're asking in terms of, is it fair? I think that there's a lot of players that don't, like, for example, like you with the goalie coach, like you don't have the resources, so it's difficult for you. If you had a really good goalie coach in your town or a club that had a full-time goalie staff, like, yeah. I just think it's the infrastructure. The coaches here, they coach because they love, like, people are playing football because they love football. I talked to Pat, like the pool town manager. Of course, like he gets paid and he's like pretty much at a professional, semi-professional level, so it's a job for him. But the coaches in our league that we play against, step 8, 7, 6, 5, like they do it because they love football. There's like 5 clubs in every town. So I don't think it's like a fair question. I just think it's an infrastructure question. Like, how do we fix it? Because there's good players everywhere, but they don't have the resources. And whose fault is that?
Right.
That's the thing. In England, everyone loves it. Like the coaches don't do it because they get paid. They do it because they just love football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I understand the question, like, is it not fair? And I guess the answer is it's not fair, but that's the system, same as college system. Like, maybe it's not fair that they need to have a GPA requirement, but that's the system, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Where would you, like, for an average Division 1 team, where would you stick them in the English pyramid or like Spanish pyramid in the ways that like they would be able to perform?
I would say a top Division 1 school like an Ohio State, Clemson, Wake Forest would probably be like a step 2, step 3 team. Lower level Division 1 school would probably be like a step 5, step 6 team.
Okay.
Top Division 2 school would probably be like step 3, step 4. It's difficult because like Division 1 you have like the top schools.
Yeah.
And then there's a big drop off. Division 2 you have top schools, and then there's a big drop off. I would say like a top Division 1 school would probably be like step 2, step 3, like Poole Town, the one that we went to watch.
Yeah.
Any more questions, guys?
I don't think so.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that was really good. Thank you both so much for being here. We learned a lot. Guys, if you have anything you learned from Gage or from Justin, we'll tag their Instagram so you can shoot them a DM. But yeah, that was a really good episode, guys. Really appreciate your time, and we've got a game tonight, so let's hope we win.
Yeah, of course.